Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Danielle, aka Stitcherista here on YouTube, and today is Tuesday, April 12th. I am off work today. Worked late last night. The job we had wound up going until 7:30, and then I wound up working a little bit longer after Bill went to bed. So I worked, it was a long day. And we have the same case, I'm off today. We had the same case Wednesday and Thursday. So I'm anticipating a long day, but at least it's never easy to have a long work day. But it is a little bit easier when I know ahead of time. I can sort of mentally prepare for it to be a long day. So hopefully not, but we don't know. Okay, so I did a tiny bit of stitching yesterday on my Luminous Fiber Arts piece, Gathering Honey. I did some more of the bird. I only did like 1 or 2 rows of the bird. So I have a bunch of haul to show you. Stuff came in the mail yesterday. I got my order in from Just Another Button Company, and I had ordered some buttons, and the white buttons I ordered, which are these, they're way too big to use in the center of the flowers. I will use these for something else, just not for that. Yeah. And then I also got this Beachcomber set buttons, which are like teal, green, all different sizes and shapes and things. Beachcomber mini mix, it says. And then I got these, oh, this was a free gift. Oh, I didn't even order this. I was wondering, I'm like, I don't remember ordering this. This is Pop-Up Hop Shop Easter event. So it has a bunch of small buttons. Now, I might use, like, there are 2 of these. See these little ones right here? They would look good in the center. So I might use those. I'll see. When I stitch today, I'm going to put them down and see. We're going to see. It kind of matches the color of the stitching, believe it or not. So, but yeah, those are really cute. I like the smaller buttons. Especially stitching on 18 and 20 count. You need smaller ones, right? But I did get a bunch of patterns and kits from them. So Just Another Button Company has a bunch of small kits where it's the pattern and they include the button. So this one is called Jolly Square. I mean, these would be perfect for a junk journal. And it includes the Santa button. See the Santa button on the front right here? It includes that. So you supply the fabric and thread. Here's the pattern. Yeah. Then I also got Jingle All the Way. So it has the bells and the holly leaf or whatever that is up there. But again, you supply the pattern, the fabric and the floss. And yeah, a junk journal all the way. And then I also had to get Mary. Absolutely loved that. Love, love, love. So it includes the Christmas tree button. And then this one for Easter called To Tweet. Are you kidding me right now? Look at that. Look at that little chick. So it includes the feet for the chick, his beak, the eyes, and then the 2 flower buttons. It doesn't include the pin up top. See, they put a pin up there. You don't have to put that pin though. But so, so very cute. And then I also got Shh, Not a Creature Was Stirring. Dude, look how cute that mouse is. So it includes the mouse and the stocking. Love. They're going to be so fun to do. And then, so they have, it's only a handful of kits. I hope they come out with more. They're called Needle Print and Play. And one of these is from Nashville, I'm pretty sure. This was in collaboration with Val's stuff, and it is called Val's Irresistible Rabbit. So what you get, I'm going to show you. You get the felt flower, which goes on the front, you can see. The bunny is printed, this is perforated paper. The bunny is printed on perforated paper, and it includes some buttons, but what you stitch is, it looks like the bunny's face and like the flowers and the leaves. So what you're stitching and the border, it looks like do you stitch that border? Yes. So you stitch the entire border, and so you're stitching like the leaves and the flowers. You're not stitching the bunny. It looks like the bunny, let's see, I'm going to open it up. We're going to take a peek at this for a second. I was absolutely just taken aback by this because you guys know I love perforated paper. Yeah, so here is the perforated paper. And what's nice is they give you this. So you could actually, when you go to finish this, you could attach this to the back of that, and it looks like you can't even see the holes, right? So yeah, you stitch, because it includes, what does it include? Like I said, you get the felt flower that you sew on there. You get buttons for his eyes, the button for his nose. Yeah, you don't stitch anything on the rabbit. All you stitch is the border and the leaves around it. It's such a neat idea. I absolutely love that. It is a way to, oh no, don't come off there. It is a way to do some stitching and be creative and have it looks, it's going to look somewhat three-dimensional, I'm guessing. That would be a nice little project to take to the retreat. Maybe I'll do that. That would be really small. I wouldn't have to bring a stand or anything. I wouldn't even have to bring my stitching bag. I may do that. I may change it right up. Why can't I get this back in the bag? Yeah, I am seriously going to consider that. Love it. Absolutely love it. I'm thinking about doing that, people. And then they had another one. They had this one called Wicked Flight. Dude, this has me written all over that. Are you kidding me right now? So what you get, let's open this one up too. Yeah, I would love to see more designs. I should write them. Yeah. All right, so what you get, again, they give you the printed, so you can, when you finish it, there's the perforated paper. Doesn't it look so cool? And you get the buttons for the hat, the bat, stars. Oh my God, I can't. So all you stitch on it is the word wicked. That's all you stitch. And the eye in wicked makes up the broom. So if you look, see the eye in wicked? So you put the hat and the broom. Oh my God, I could finish this like literally in a day. I would do these all day long, seriously, if they made them. And you know, for that matter, you could even stitch these on perforated paper. They would adapt so well to it because they're not big projects. Buttons work well just on this. You could really, that's an idea. I may really do that. I bought almost they had a lot. I bought almost every one they had because I was just obsessed. But these, the needle print and play, just another button company needs to get on it with that. I don't know why those haven't. What did I do with those buttons? What the hell, right? Oh, they're right here. I'm not sure why those haven't taken off more. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. I love them. It's such a neat idea. I love stuff like that. I was obsessed a couple years ago with stitching everything on perforated paper. And I even like would spray paint using Deco Masters tint and dye, tint and something. And I would like kind of make the perforated paper like hand dyed somewhat. Yeah. I know when I get something in my head, right? Love, 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 love. Yeah, that, and putting the perforated paper in the junk journal. Piece of friggin' cake, people. Piece of cake. Okay. That was my order from Just Another Button Company. Then I got, so on Instagram, I had seen someone who was stitching a design all in black on this piece of Seraphim Fabrics called Galaxy. Well, I love the fabric so much. I go to the website. It's not on there. Like, oh no. So I have no problem contacting people, right? So I messaged the owner of Seraphim Fabrics on Instagram and said, is there any way possible I can order a piece of this fabric because got to have it? She was like, yeah, I just don't have it listed on the website because it wasn't a big seller. So, right? It is Galaxy, and I got a fat quarter of 18 count Aida. I'm going to undo this and show you. I mean, look at that. Are you kidding me right now? And the design that this person, and I want to say it was stitching with a tortie cat. If that was who it was. She was stitching a design by Modern Folk Embroidery that said something about a broom. And I absolutely, it looks so good on it. I just had to have the fabric. I was just like, dude. So got that. And then I got an order from Primrose Cottage Stitches because I love their patterns too, and their patterns would also do phenomenal on perforated paper. I know I have a shit ton of fabric, but I also have a lot of perforated paper, and sometimes perforated paper is just so much easier on the eyes and the brain. Just saying. So I ordered a big pack of, oh, a button came out. They're trying to escape. What's happening? Where did that go? I don't even know where that went. Okay, I really loved these buttons. This is Buttons Galore and More. And really what I got this for, I mean, you can use these for anything, but the snowman, when I stitched the next one from Luminous Fiber Arts, the snowman has a hat with a button. I'll probably be able to use one of these snowflakes or something, right? Yeah, I just really, really like those pack of buttons. And then I got a bunch of patterns. Of course I did. So I got Irish Kisses. I mean, these stitch up so easy and quick, and they look so good. You know, something really good in cross stitch doesn't have to be complicated. A lot of the things that I love are the most simplest things. I mean, look at the finishing that they did with it. Phenomenal. And if you don't watch, I don't know her name, but her Flosstube channel is Java Girl Stitches. She loves Primrose Cottage Stitches, and she stitches a lot of them. She stitches a lot. Her finishing is beautiful. She does such wonderful work. I absolutely love watching her videos because when she does a video, she has so many projects finished. But yeah, love that one. And I mean, on 14 count, it's only 3 inches wide by 4.5 inches tall. How can you go wrong with something like that, right? And then I got Spring Wishes because, oh my God, look at that bunny. Spring Wishes and Bunny Kisses. And I mean, it only calls for 7 colors. So easy enough to just pick your own if you don't feel like going with the DMC. Then I got a bunch of their small ones. So Let It Snow. Love. Like I said, perforated paper written all over that. Joy to the world. Every time I see this, I think of that scene in National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, when he's trying to plug the lights in and he's like, I think he says joy to the world when he's doing it. Yeah, I love that's the Quaker. Love this. Absolutely love that one so much. That's one of my favorite ones. Then I got this May flowers. I was thinking of stitching this. May is my birthday month. I was thinking of stitching this for that month. Don't you just love it? Now, they must use, they use Gentle Art Sampler Threads Punchberry for the purple. I got so many DMC color variations. I know I can pick a purple from that. Then I also got Jingle All the Way. Love their aesthetic. Luck of the Irish, which I think I would use some brighter greens. They use Ecru 3051 and 3052. What's the joy about cross stitch is that if you want to change colors, you can. Yeah. And then the last one I got is one of their bee ones, because they brought out for Nashville, they brought out a whole bunch of bee patterns. This one is Happy, Be Humble, Be Kind, which I remember my new saying is be kind or be quiet. Right? Shut your friggin' yap. I thought you could actually stitch these 3 separate patterns. Yes, indeedy. I love the border though. I like the hearts in the border. How big is this? On 14 count, it's 3 1/4 by 8. So yeah, I wouldn't be able to, that wouldn't fit all in the junk journal, but 3 separate entries it could. Yeah. So love, love, love. And I also love ordering the paper copy from Primrose Cottage Stitches because they're printed on that really thick, nice cardstock. Love. Those ladies are doing a bang up job over there. And I can't wait to see what they come out with next. Okay, that was all the buying. I ordered a bunch of patterns from 123 Stitch and they're coming. Yeah, I've spent some money. It was funny because yesterday, so I opened all that up and I had this stuff to go in recycling, like the envelopes, and I always like put it, I try to combine it like all in one envelope. And Bill was getting ready to go out and mow the lawn. And I said, hey, can you take this down there for recycling? And he says, yeah. He goes, what did you buy? I said, that's for me to know and you to never know. And he busted out laughing. He doesn't care. As long as the bills are paid, buy what you want, right? Yeah, he doesn't care. Okay. Let's move this over here. All right. So, talking point. I think I have 2. Okay, so Melissa posted this in the Stitching with the Housewives group, Chelsea and Priscilla's group. To the person who suggested that I stitch my corners, thank you. No more burning my fingertips with hot glue. So when I would finish stuff on, when I wrap fabric around mat board, I miter my corners. And this is what this person did. So I'm going to show you the picture. See how they stitched the corners? You fold it in, you tape it or glue it, and then you stitch the corners closed, and it really pulls. I have a video on my channel, I'm pretty sure, about how I miter the corners, because look how crisp the corners are by doing that. That looks fantastic, right? Yeah. So do any of you do that? I know some people aren't as concerned with the corners looking perfect. Me, I like to have them look as perfect, crisp, like you could, like, I could stick myself with it. Yeah. Love that though. Love to see somebody else doing that. Okay. And yeah, I only have one other. So this is Vicky posted in the Snarky and Nerdy cross stitching group. She says, so I've discovered the secret for getting your work in progress is done, be diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. She said, I admit it's drastic, but the idea of not being able to stitch anymore has given me my sojo back. She called it sojo. I love that. It's also made her buy more patterns, which kind of defeats the objective, but fuck it, I'm worth it. So my heart goes out to Vicky. And I just wanted to say that takes a lot of courage to put that out there, right? And I would hope, why I wanted to talk about it with you guys is I really hope where there's a will, there's a way, right? I hope if I'm afflicted with something down the road as I get older that would prohibit me from stitching how I normally stitch now, that I would find a way to still stitch. Maybe it's perforated paper and big giant needles, because the perforated paper holes, that looks smaller than 14 count in those kits. I don't know if it is. Wait a minute, let me see. Oh, I tried to make everything all nice and neat. I feel I'd have to pull out, I don't have perforated paper like right here, but stitch on 11 count, or yeah, I really hope that there is something in my brain. I feel like when I really want to do something, I can. So I hope I'm always going to be able to find a way to stitch. Look, there was a guy, and I don't know where I saw this. It was a long time ago. This guy had no use of his arms. He stitched with his feet. Now, I don't think I could do that. I watched that video like 50 times, because he literally would put the needle between his big toe and the second toe. How the fuck do you do that? I was mesmerized, and he stitched like these big giant fucking things. Like, how do you stitch with your feet? Yeah. So, Vicky, all the love for you. I hope you are able to stitch all the things now, right? And you know, remember I said with this piece that I was going to not put it in the junk journal? I am. Yesterday I was sitting here when I had a few minutes break, and I'm like, the whole reason for me buying the junk journal was to put everything in it. Whether it's nice and neat or not, because I want to look back in those books when I'm 80 and be like, wow, this is what was going on in 2022. Here's what I was doing. Here's what I was thinking. I mean, because, you know, you just change. I wish I would have, you know, you wish you would have done something like that, you know, 15, 20 years ago. Yeah. Yeah. So I am going to put it in there. I mean, I already bought the scrapbook paper and stuff for it too. And I can use some of that scrapbook paper for some of those bee patterns, because it's like, the stuff is like bees and gnomes and all kinds of stuff. Okay, so I have 2 OMG moments, and they are by the same person. I feel like I need to be friends with this person, and you're going to see why. So before I show you, I'm going to warn you that, what's the word I'm looking for? They are more on the adult side of cross-stitching, meaning there are cuss words. So just to warn you, for people that don't particularly care about that. So this is by Stacy Wilson. Oh, that's a button too. What the hell is happening here today? So I'm just going to click on it and show you. It says, maybe your dick is so small because you took 3/4 of it and shoved it into your personality. She actually gave this to someone. I think that's hilarious. Okay, yeah. And I think she made that pattern herself. Well, no, she finished it. She didn't give it to someone. I don't know what she was going to do with it. But then she posted this one too and said, the sass is still strong this week. This one, I died laughing. Jam it up your ass. And of course, this group that it's posted in is Snarky and Nerdy Cross Stitching, and people are like just dying over the pattern. Just dying. Yeah, I loved it. Okay. So today is, did I tell you yesterday was Lacey's birthday? I think I said that. And I did talk to her on message. And she's doing good, and I can't wait to see her next week at the retreat. I know it's next week already. It's next Thursday. I am really hoping, because we have nothing on the calendar next week yet. I'm hoping that if we have something on Thursday, that it ends early or we don't have anything, because then I could get right up there. Because I booked the room for Thursday. So it was just whenever my job was done, I was going to leave and go. All right. Oh, and by the way, one of my friends on Facebook posted something and said, somebody's door is gone because privacy is a privilege. This person can change clothes in the bathroom. This mama disciplines old school. Let me tell you, I am all for that, because kids want to slam doors and act like a fool. Nope. Bill's stepbrother had a son and a daughter, and when they were teenagers, he had taken the door off of his daughter's room and almost took everything out of it but her bed. Yeah, having a room in privacy is a privilege. So, yeah. I never slammed my door at home. I was not like that, but yeah, no. I thought that was so funny when I saw that. All right. Let's see. I was going to do a true crime story. This video is already quite long. Let's see. Okay, let me see. Let me go look, because I was going to start cold cases solved. That's what is the true crime. All right, let's see how long these are. Oh, they're long. Okay, we'll do this one. Okay, this one is called To Catch a Killer. Sitting in the auditorium at a 1998 homicide conference in Florida, Captain James Tucker could hardly believe what he was hearing. Tucker was attending the seminar as a representative of the Portsmouth Police Department in New Hampshire. The officer currently on stage was from NCIS, which is Naval Criminal Investigative Service. We all know what that is because that shows on TV, right? His presentation had to do with the killing of a young Navy wife, Dana Keichler, who had been raped and strangled at her home in Mayport, Florida on December 3rd, 1990. What really caught Tucker's attention was the similarity to an unsolved case he had on his books, the 1987 murder of 23-year-old Michelle LaFond. Then the NCIS agent put a picture of his victim up on the screen, and Tucker's level of interest went up another notch. Dana Keichler and Michelle LaFond look very much alike. They could have been sisters. Michelle LaFond had met her terrible death at her home in Dublin, New Hampshire on March 4th, 1987. It was her husband, Gary, who had the misfortune of finding her. He had come home from work to find the house in disarray and his wife's naked body in an upstairs bathroom. Her hair was wet, suggesting that her killer had placed her in a tub of water at some point. He had also bound her wrists and ankles and subjected her to a savage rape before strangling her to death. Michelle LaFond had been 4 months pregnant at the time of her death. No. This is why I keep the door locked until Bill is coming home. Now. And we have a Ring doorbell. Things happen in broad fucking daylight. Like, it doesn't matter. The Portsmouth police worked the case hard, focusing on Michelle and Gary LaFond's inner circle. The lack of forced entry suggested that Michelle might have known her killer and let him into the house. They had semen from the victim's body, but the sample wasn't sufficient for a DNA match using 1987 technology. Despite the best efforts of investigators, the case had slipped away from them and gone cold. Now Captain Tucker was listening to the details of another tragedy involving a young woman on the other side of the country. Like Michelle LaFond, Dana Keichler was an attractive young woman, recently married, living a happy life. Michelle had been 23, Dana was 21 years old, and the mother of a 2-year-old son. Her husband, Pat, was a naval officer serving aboard the USS Forstall. On the morning of Monday, December 3rd, 1990, the day that Dina was killed, Pat was away on deployment. Dina's son was visiting his grandparents, and Dina was home alone. Ugh. Dina Keichler was employed at an optics store in Jacksonville at this time. Her outgoing personality made her popular with colleagues and customers alike. She was also an unfailingly reliable person, so when she failed to show up at work that morning, there was immediate concern. Friend and co-worker Amy Stark tried calling her but got no reply. Amy then decided to drive over to Mayport Landing, a complex for military families where Dina lived. The first sign of something untoward was when Amy spotted her friend's car in the driveway. If Dina was home, why wasn't she answering her phone? Amy parked her car and got out. She started towards the house, then stopped. A chill ran down her spine. Something was wrong here, very wrong. In any case, she wasn't going any further. Reaching into her purse, she retrieved her phone and called the police. Amy Stark's decision not to enter the house turned out to be a wise one. It spared her a glimpse into the horror that lay within. The patrolman who had picked up the call noticed something wrong the minute he stepped through the door. There was blood pooled in the foyer and clear signs of a struggle. The officer followed a trail of blood upstairs. On the floor of the master bedroom was a pile of blankets from which a human foot protruded. The officer backed out of the room, returned to his cruiser, and called it in. Dina Keichler had been savagely raped, brutally killed. Her life had been snuffed out with a length of rope twisted into a tourniquet around her slender neck. There were blood spatters throughout the house, as well as tufts of dark hair, which appeared to have been snipped from the victim, most likely by her killer. Plenty of forensic evidence was gathered, including a cigarette butt and 3 hairs determined to be from the inner thigh, the leg, and the pubic area. These were found on the blanket covering Dina's body, but they weren't hers. Most likely they were from her killer. The other important piece of information to emerge from that initial sweep was the way in which the killer had gained entry to the home. None of the doors or windows had been forced. It appeared that Dina Keichler had let him in, meaning that they were probably acquainted. That narrowed the suspect pool considerably. Dina Keichler, as we have already mentioned, was a physically attractive woman, but what really drew people to her was her personality. Friendly and vivacious, she was seldom without a smile or a kind word. This had gained her many admirers. Several of her colleagues at the optics store appeared to have a crush on her, and 3 of these men were flagged as suspects. They were eliminated from the inquiry when the hair samples they provided did not match those found at the crime scene. The investigators then expanded their net to include other males in the Keichler's inner circle, and that was when the name John Brewer first came up. Brewer was a native of New Hampshire who worked on the naval base as a painter and lived in the same complex as Pat and Dina Keichler. His name was first brought to the attention of investigators when they found it in an address book at the couple's home. Further inquiries revealed that he had a record, mostly for minor infractions, but with a couple of burglary convictions thrown in. Brought in for questioning, Brewer admitted that he was on friendly terms with Pat and Dina Keichler. He had visited them at their apartment several times, he said. In fact, he had promised Pat that he'd look out for Dina while Pat was away at sea. Brewer then asked the detectives if he could light up a cigarette while they talked. The brand he smoked was the same as the butt found at the crime scene. And something else caught the attention of investigators. Brewer's hands were swollen and he had several cuts across his knuckles. John Brewer had now been elevated to the top of the suspect list. One simple test would prove his guilt or clear him as a person of interest. He was asked to provide hair samples for comparison and agreed right away. The investigators were sure that they had their man. They were as surprised as anyone when the test results came back as inconclusive. The reason for this mismatch would only become clear once the samples were sent to the FBI crime lab for a more comprehensive test. There, it would be revealed that Brewer had duped the Florida investigators. What? He had provided hair samples from other parts of his body. What? Officers were then dispatched to bring Brewer back in, but their suspect was long gone. It would take the police a year before they eventually tracked him down. Then the correct samples were obtained and a match was made. On December 12, 1991, John Brewer was taken into custody and charged with the first-degree murder of Dina Keichler. Brewer was held without bond while prosecutors built their case against him. However, this would not prove to be the slam dunk that many believed. Brewer was a wily character who was no doubt aware that his biological material might have been found at the crime scene. During his initial interview with detectives, he had been at pains to stress that he had been inside the Keichler residence prior to the murder. This hadn't just been randomly thrown into the conversation. Brewer was laying the groundwork for reasonable doubt. Any half-competent defense attorney would be able to argue that his DNA might have been left at the scene under entirely innocent circumstances, but not on the blanket, right? And that was also how Circuit Judge Lawrence Haddock saw it. In November 1993, he set Brewer free, ruling that the state of Florida did not have sufficient cause to hold him. At this stage, the case was dead in the water. If John Brewer was indeed the killer of Dina Keichler, then he appeared to have gotten away with it, and for the next 7 years, he probably believed that he had. But then came that conference and the presentation by the NCIS agent. Then came the realization by Captain James Tucker that the murder of Dina Keichler had much in common with his own cold case. After the presentation, the officers got together and exchanged notes. They soon realized that they both had biological evidence, the hairs that had been matched to John Brewer and the sperm sample that had yet to find a match. What were the chances that these two samples, deposited 1,200 miles apart at opposite ends of the country, were a match to each other? The chances, as it turned out, were very good. DNA tests would prove that they had the same donor, John Brewer. Brewer was arrested in April 1998 and charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. He was then presented with a stark choice. Prosecutors in both states were determined to seek the death penalty. His only chance of avoiding the needle was to come clean. With little option but to comply, Brewer accepted the offer that was on the table, entering guilty pleas at trial and accepting 2 life terms with no possibility of parole. Describing the murders, Brewer said that he had deliberately befriended his victims and their husbands in order to gain their confidence. Wow. Gary LaFond had been a work colleague of his. Pat and Dina Keichler had been his neighbors. He had called on the women when he knew their husbands were away. Gary was at work and Pat was on deployment at sea. Both Michelle and Dina had let him in when he arrived unannounced at their homes. Of course, they knew him. He had attacked the minute he was through the door. The women were beaten into submission, raped, and then strangled to death. Brewer then departed the scene, unaware that he had left behind the biological evidence that would ultimately bring about his downfall. Every contact leaves a trace is the credo of forensic investigation, and in this case, it had come up trumps. But one question remains to be answered. Were Michelle LaFond and Dina Keichler the only victims of this cold-hearted killer? Given what we know of this personality type, it seems unlikely. There is every chance that more murders will be linked to John Brewer in the future. We might not have heard the last of him. Let's hope we have, because that's horrific. And you know what I always want to know? I always want to know why. Why have you done something like this? You befriended these people, you were friends with them. Why would you do this in such a brutal way? Raping, strangling, I don't, it's sick individuals, obviously. Okay. The last thing for today. How are we going to continue to unfuck ourselves in this year of 2022? That was a good rip. Growth, real seismic growth hurts. Sometimes a lot. Yeah. I don't really know what to say to that one, but yeah, I mean, doing something different than what you're used to doing. Yeah. Okay. So I hope you guys are all having a good Tuesday. I am so actually very tempted to start this today, to put aside my other project. I really want to stitch it. Oh, you know what's cool? Okay, I just realized. So the flower is felt, right? How you attach the flower to the perforated paper is this button goes in the center of it. So you attach, you put your, yeah. Oh my God. I love stuff like this. Love it. And the little B button, look at that. And I'll have to find scrapbook paper that looks like this so I can, that's so cool. Okay. All right, so I hope you guys all have a wonderful Tuesday. As always, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments section below and I will answer them to the best of my ability. Thank you so much for spending some of your time with me today, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys.